Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
This is cute.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Very nice. Very cute. Oh, you might have a bird problem here. February 18, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built a few short decades since we've opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. And certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead we are here in a different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need to requisite qualifications as a lawyer, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Oh, shit. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. Seems like I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Male Strongheart. Oh, like Maelstrom, okay. Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. Ugh, I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire, not the doves in the back. Yes, thank you. Not the doves. Yes, sir, London. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water, and gas, even cable supplying electricity. We spearheaded every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming Great Exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great Exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history. It will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Damn. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself, the sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. A Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored his appointment specifically to inform me of this news. Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And with it is some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you wouldn't just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo. This is it then, the moment of truth. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi. At least that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this isn't really going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? It's me. If there's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but no qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Cosmo to help me, and I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Berea. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Cosmo, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he's planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you good instead of a lawyer. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Yeah, no, okay. Oh, thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes. You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there, all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Oh boy, alright. So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an app trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be a welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. Oh, my lord. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Dogehype.com. Yeah, no thanks. Purge. Goodbye. If I managed to secure a verdict of not guilty, I'll pass my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, I could ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. Ah, I remember. It's a murder trial. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. It's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read it that much in your short C-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you won't lose. So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court? If I lose, he'll be hanged. Hanged? Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Yes. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision-making needs to work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. Oof. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo? I'm sorry, Miss Susato, but what could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable. I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand on the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time. Lord Chief Justice. No, it was correct. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. But welcome in. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial would begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful. But that is the truth. But why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope. So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. He's gone. The Old Bailey? If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Miss Susato, can I just ask you something? Careful. From this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will. You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, it better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Oh, okay. February 18th, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's
Good God, she's violent.
Yeah, she is. She means well, though. Oh, thank goodness, we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you? It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly.
Bottle of water.
Are you thirsty? Do you need water, Bartholomew? I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die and we had to pay for the privilege. At least we arrived here before the trial started. Excuse me.
I want Wawa.
You want Wawa? Okay. I'll get you some Wawa. Excuse any noise in the back. Wawa? get some through osmosis. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait isn't grand. I what?
Glug 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 mortar.
I'm glad you're satisfied. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Okay, I'm sorry. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. It feels only like yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top the morning to you, madam. Sir? Oh my god. What are yous doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous? We're from Japan, yes?
Mother, can I have sports drink?
A sports drink? But you're not doing sports. Why do you need a sports drink? Ah, Japan, is it? Right. Say no more. So, how much do yous need? No. We're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all white's a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no.
I am an athletic rat.
Alright now. You sit here all the time. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy a city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ah! It hit me in the eye.
Mother, I have a life outside of stream. I can do skateboard tricks.
Can you now? You've never told me this of you. You're a little skateboarding rat? Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you, no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self, figure. I'll be in the dock. Oh, this is our convicted murderer. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No? Sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It's called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did. An entire park in central London? A city of smiles. That's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city, and it's queer old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask you? Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo? Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands... What? You'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying you deft Egypt? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering just to stand there next to you. Why did that cut so weird? Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This chancer of a fellow claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well. Well. No? No? Not at all, although it is a little strange to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Like Jack the Ripper? Sorry? Did he just say Reaper? I, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barg van Zeeks. Zeeks? He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Van Zake stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fellow at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barg van Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel. That'd be me. Oh, it is time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here, I made up me mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo, the man has no one. will have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defendants, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Oh. February 18, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, interesting. There's actually a council. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes the words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? You look like a nervous wreck. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh my god. What the f- Jesus Christ. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense. You appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready, and I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. My dude, you look like a vampire. Those eyes please me. Nipponese. Ew. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh, a cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Objection! Hello, Kylie. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to have opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East. It is not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded, what a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that you donated 5,000 pounds to the government the other day? Whether you please, may we go play with McGilded Park? Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. No, that's not what the Empire ever did. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, in most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? We got a white... Sir, you have a knife in the courtroom. Or we're going to go through this shit again. You shouldn't have a weapon in the courtroom. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows, where they belong, I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. Why are you flipping a knife around in court? Oh, you're the note taker. You're drinking in court. I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. I must finish these myths for my grandson. Mr. Naruhodo, these people are... the jury? Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yeah. Prosecutor Van Zeeks. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I'll leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years? Why did he choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this case is overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as a thrice-fired mason. Sorry, thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. Impressive. Oh my god. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. Autopsy has been entered. Photo has also been entered. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by the policeman who arrived at the scene. The gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilda's gloves had blood on them? Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded! To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Wilton, so it is. And when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in me life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me clothes now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got on the gloves then after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver is the only beginning. What? That's not all of it? There was multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Damn, she's typing away. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and they're witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we'll hear the testimony from the witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. Alright, who's gonna be the shady-looking fucker? Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus at the East End. Bruce Fairplay, I'm a banker in the city. My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir, that's right, sir. Wait, but he said there's only 2 people in the omnibus, which was the guy who died and the guy we're defending. So how is there more people in the omnibus? Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. What the witnesses saw. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those 2 witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. Damn. How quaint. I'd read that the civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good country behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Japanese friend. I'm not seeing Nipponese. Tell me, my Japanese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What? Do you mean the actual scene? How? The carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff? Bring forth the stricken omnibus. What the fuck? What is this? Oh. Oh, it's like the four-person carriage, or six. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. Gotcha. Cool. Okay, yeah, 4 and then 4? 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, a skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on the omnibus when the murder took place, and that is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Well, Consul, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. What? The whole ass fucking carriage is... Oh my god. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing it's here. Let us continue with the proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Excuse me. Pray don't expect this Japanese stray to understand the intricacies of British court cross-examination rights. Alright. My first cross-examination in British court. Focus. Focus. Oh boy. Okay, what the witnesses saw. Okay. So evening, so I had a few customers, I remember it well. We're just gonna press everything. Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes. Ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though. No. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. Not You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. None. So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then. I have to say, the boss insists on running it. He does. Every evening. That last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much at the pub on the way home just to try and warm up again. Victim and the man accused of killing were sat next to each other inside the bus.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage. That's right. When you sit at the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. Yeah, because he was sitting back here, though, in the second one. There was a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view. I am late! Oh no! Oh god, we're in the UK. Yes, we are in Great Britain, and we've had a murder in a carriage. The two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. Mr. Moneybags. Quite literally. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There is no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. We're questioning everything. But out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum? Hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail. My lord. Juror number 3. What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other they shouldn't be. Something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. Oh my god. There's no point in wasting time to any more of this. It's my opinion on the matter anyway. That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. No! Oh shit! Oh, what's happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, just as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than before. Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof sets. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. No, okay. It was sticking right out of his belly, that huge great knife. A grim sight indeed. Ah, that didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. It appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded was telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir? Is this the knife that you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it. The very one, sir. Is that? Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is the blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Please, no. M, for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly? Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. But there's M's everywhere. Like, yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh, British. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Oh, fuck. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel. The murder weapon has been added. My God. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Ah, juror number 2. Go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However... Uh-oh. Those of us in service know we must accept the hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. Oh, fuck. Shit. No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Fucking Christ. Oh my God. Not again. That's 4 out of 6 jury members who've proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press the witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that there's more sparks they will fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Yeah, the cars are really stacked against us. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too.
Hold it!
That's what we can press. Fuck. What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, the collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously, you're referencing to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passenger that had the knife in his hand, like this. By the other passenger, obviously, you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What? Fucking hell. My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. do I take it that you too? As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. Fuck. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep an open mind a little long. Gee up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight. Fuck. We're so screwed. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do you for? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day, and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He always is doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books? Damn, he donated a library too? A whole park and a whole library. How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man he is? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all this wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What? Still in the crows! McGilded lends money at extraordinary rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Your faculties once deserted you, I'm sure, ma'am. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make the use of public omnibus service? You're not saying that. The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, his pitiful soul had the very last thing he owed taken from him, his life. Yes, eat the rich. But the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it. Oh. If I might add something briefly, Mr. Sato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where is the evidence to support your claim? Sir? Why are you drinking on the stand? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice in the court of law. Aha, there it is. Lord Van Zeke's hallowed chalice. How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. Ah! As judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You'll find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present the ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice and toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. Slice napkin with my signature? Trust me. Ah, yes. 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain that he had ample recompense. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Oh no! Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. No! Granny! Still. Maybe it's all for the best. Ah, wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before. I don't stand for nonsense. Oh, we're fucked, dude. we're so fucked. That was it. The last jury's decision. I have hella lost this case. I'm fucked. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh! There's a footnote, though. A footnote? However, the defense... All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Objection! Miss Susato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes. You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote on your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the proceeding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. And the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. A summation examination?
Objection!
Summation, sorry. A summation examination. From which country has that tome you have there been resurrected? Ah! Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. Oh. I want to still try. What even is it, Miss Susato? The so-called summation examination. Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to procedure before you understand what it entails? Huh, typical Japanese. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leadings and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions? Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision, but that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Oh my god! Oh, no. They really are just pulling shit out their ass. Assert our right. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord. I have no clue. We seem kind of fucked. London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of your jury ready? Eh? Well, I'm not. There was no mention of this in the letter I received, so, you see, all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is the most irregular. No mention of this was made before. I don't really hold all this justifying work. This seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. They've been bought! They were bribed! Alright then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attended for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime. Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. There is no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers, the fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the jab next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn a logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. Wait. Hold on, huh? If he made 20 pence, and it's not higher than 4 pence per person, wouldn't that be 16? Where's the other 4 coming from? The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. It beggars belief. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. The horse also had to pay to pull the carriage. The two horses. It's a 8-person cabin. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them. Use very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defense. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about the British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And then that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, then we can contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions and what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Well, the stabbings are weird. One to the side, one on... Yeah, like, one on the side, one on the floor. I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Not the double slabs. Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. There's no one else in the carriage at the time, so it has been him. I trust the driver is an excellent member. It seems 4 passengers with fare totaling 20 pence. That one doesn't make sense to me. Stuck the chap next to him just like this. Absolutely brazen. Okay, so yeah. This one and the maid I would pit against each other. So how would it be 20 if there's 4 for 4 pence? Right? Yeah? Yes? Indeed. Okay, so we're gonna pit you against you.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do. Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silver Blaze's main and name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a fair and convenient single price. Just the way London's carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it was 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 4 times 4 is indeed 16. 1 person's fare? Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I beg your pardon. Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. Blah, 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 blah. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of a set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Oh shit. He's pissed. Whee! This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir, I'm going to do the same. For the love of Mike! Not you as well! A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witness again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then that's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other, and show there's another contradiction in their swordsman. 2 of 6! Exactly, you can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. I'm changing my leaning to innocent. I should like to hear the slipshod bookkeeper has to say for himself. Alright. Let's see. Okay, let me... Oop, no, go back. Go back. Okay, there was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. We can't prove that necessarily. He struck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I simply typed and consolidated the statement so far. He's changing innocent. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. Yeah. Alright, Granny. And this fucker. Yeah.
Objection!
Those are like, The 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel. Post haste. Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all that claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I might ask you? We heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see I'm busy here? That's why you don't carry a knife in court, dude. How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? Was sort of motion was it? Ha! Wanna test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like a prim banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do you for there, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He struck the fellow next to him without getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle. The frozen animation. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. Let's go! The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He is clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, dark jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab him with the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and the young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say that the victim collapsed on the floor, and the Shylock stabbed him again. And this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling dandy, sir? And why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. They're ready to kill each other now. But couldn't the foreman of the jury be right? The 2 witnesses see 2 different moments of the same crime? No? I'm pretty sure not. It was one, like, the photo that we have, which I think I can pull up after, is the guy is sitting in the chair, so like he's sitting back sort of like this, and there's a knife just in his gut, like right in the middle of his stomach. So he couldn't be on the floor unless he was picked up, and there's only 1 stab wound site, so unless he perfectly stabbed in the same spot again, yeah, it has to be out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman... What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As a foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So, where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the 2 witnesses saw 2 different moments of the same crime. You say that's out of the question. Show me some proof. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that 2 witnesses saw 2 different moments of the same crime as proven by... Let's see... So here, I want to show this. So this is the picture that we got. Literally just him stabbed in the gut, slumped over in the seat, not on the floor. Very clearly slumped there. But I think what they're asking for is the autopsy. Let's see. Thrice fired mason, male, 54, brickmaker, time and cause of death, stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while journeying on an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulted from the trauma. I think that's what they want me to present. Yes, unless he was picked up, back off the ground, stabbed once in the abdomen. Yeah. No. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen 2 different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Woo! Making strides. Huh? Oh, wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty? Oops, sorry, that was my chair. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won! What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense summation examination, I keep combining them, has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to educate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witness to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue your pursuit in truth. Let's go! We did it! So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. Stop drinking on the job. Vampire-looking motherfucker. Oh shit, he broke his glass. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hollow chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks. Ugh, is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Oh shit, he took off his cape! Bring forth the witness once more. He took off his cape! Oh, you look fidgety as fuck. Witnesses! I trust you for the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh, yes sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir. I heard it. You, sir, on the end. Coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir. My lord, sir? If it transpires that in your previous testimony you're attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call you to testify before the court again. You explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defendant's summation examination. Let's go, second phase. Yeah, they're shitting their pants right now. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it all. Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Oh. He billed us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGill stabbing the man. Everything I said before stands. Oh yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. You think so? You don't know so? Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace. Your selfish actions have brought dishonor to the entire guild. If I may say, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week? What the fuck? What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. That's fucking highway robbery. That's over twice the amount to pay. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings was already explained. So, counsel, for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. 10 pence is almost triple. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. Yes, sir. We shall do that. Various misgivings. Okay. Okay, before we do anything. He fell on the fare, he did. Yeah, that's like, I think so. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go for that one.
Hold it!
Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. Probably because he's cold as fuck. I suppose. I might have, you know, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Oh, well, I'm quite sure about the most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then I turned around. Yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman on the floor, and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes. And the fellow holding the handle was the famous man. Yes. So, in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all? I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise... Excuse me? Moment of stabbing, did I? Can I...
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Mustache man's freaking out. Yeah. Probably not. No? Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through the skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as the Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Ugh. Oh jeez, we still have some time to go. Alright, well, I do have to end it here. Unfortunately, we're only maybe a fourth of the way through the case, it looks like. But this was fun. I did start a little late, but I do have plans today. No, go on? Are you sure? Go on? Okay. I guess, like, please? Okay. In short, I'm please, okay, you're giving me mixed signals here. In short, I'm meeting Swiggity and some friends for a birthday, but, I was assumed that I was going to be picked up around now, but if not... King, can you ask Swiggity if I need to leave now, or if I can continue for another 10-ish minutes? Sweetie sent you something, by the way. I am unable to check my phone. Important. Okay. He'll be here in about 15 minutes. Yeah, I see that. Okay, so I can go for a tiny little bit longer. Just a smidge longer. Present. Gloves. Oh. So it's definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day of London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGillard right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity. If only he had been left-handed. I think the blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. No, that is determining. Regardless, I think you should get ready so you don't rush anything, but I'm happy to remain nonetheless. It takes me all of about 2 minutes to get dressed, so it won't take me very long. Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit soaked might be laying on a little thick, but... But anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Ugh. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. But, no, that can't be right. So you're the liar here, then. Don't chew on your cane, dude. That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, it was both hands. Oh my god, your poor cane. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains... the victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that the witness has deliberately tried to mislead the court. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snoop. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate? He's claiming to have no reason to lie. Is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show the man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. We got evidence, probably. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will certainly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Gah! Very well. I hereby call the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness' alleged deception of the court. Oh, he's a banker, right? So... the ledger? I want to see it. Portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Do you really ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. God, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness. What is it? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Let's go! Present!
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. He owes money! What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No. Well, it's barely worth being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilligan were tried to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay! Is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you've never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Bitch got caught in 4K. Order! Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay! Yes, my lord. Let me just ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. Alright, let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGillen's hands, both of them.
Objection.
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying? I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? It would appear we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yargs. Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. God damn. Alright, fuckers. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment of the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard the scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold. In truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment of the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying that we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of this case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Can I pause here? I can, okay. Now I will save and pause. I'll be in the middle of the cross-examination. Saving! Who is online? Oh, we got lots of people online. Let's see. Thank you for stream. Thank you for watching. Alright, let's go. Let's go raid my sister. Let's go say hi to her. You're welcome to use any of these. Go say hi. Thank you all for joining me today. I know it was a little short, but it is what it is. So, with that, stay safe, stay hydrated. I'll see you all next week for more adventuring shenanigans. Bye-bye!